Hello everybody. Hello everybody. It's me, Frelwell. Kept you waiting, huh? Several months, but this is the monthly, quote unquote monthly art challenge, and it's been a minute, too many minutes, quite a few minutes. If you don't know already, but I'm pretty sure everyone who is watching already knows, but you never know. Someone might not know. I have a Discord server, and I ask people, could you give me some characters? And then I put those characters in a wheel, and then I spun the wheel. And so let's see what happened when I spin the wheel. Grub. Oh my god. Why is that the first one? With? Who's Grubhub guy gonna be with? Grubhub is dead now. Tuba. I don't even know who Tuba is. You will know very soon. Now, you might be wondering, what do we do with this information? What do we do with this? Well, see, I take the characters and then I put them together and then I make something terrible. Well, let's see. With Tuba and Grubhub guy, I knew this was gonna end up being terrible. Just because Grubhub guy is part of it. Like anyone else, it still would have been terrible because there's Grubhub guy. What? Who suggested that? Grubhub guy was suggested by Magic Cooper Productions, and Tuba from Infinity Train was suggested by Russian Batman. Thank you very much for submitting and for making this something that exists. Now, I learned a lot doing these drawings. Look at these hands. I've gotten pretty good at drawing bulky hands, like these big fat hands, but normal hands, there's still kind of a struggle. I'm still pretty proud of this. And I'm not tracing anything. I'm proud of myself here. While drawing this, I actually went on ahead and watched Infinity Train just because it was on HBO Max. And it's a great show. It's phenomenal. And each season is like its own vibe and it's great. I love it so much. These feet are like, they end up being disgusting. I settled with something, then later on, I just completely changed it. Like I spent a year and a half drawing feet, and then later on I just draw socks because that's what the Grubhub guy has. It's great. It's wonderful. I love that I spent my time on it. Oh yeah, and I drew the entire face and it got cut out just cuz Apple is so unreliable with its screen recording when you're like screen recording for a long time that yeah, some parts just get cut out completely and I always get disappointed when I find out that happens. Going back to Infinity Train, bro. Season 1, mwah, phenomenal. Season 2, mwah, phenomenal. Season 3, I'd say it's my least favorite out of the 4, but it's great. It's still phenomenal, mwah. Season 4 wasn't out when I started the show, but then later on, it came out. I was like, mwah, phenomenal. If you have HBO Max, I highly recommend going on ahead and watching Infinity Train, and you'll see me tell you to go on ahead and watch other things later on in this video because I watched quite a bit of stuff. Okay, speaking of, go Harley Quinn show, watch it. Watch that Harley Quinn TV show, and well, watch like the first minute, and if you're not a fan, then stop watching. But it's a pretty good show. It's pretty funny sometimes. All the time. It's pretty funny. Go watch it. You might have seen this hand. You see Grubhub guy's hand. Okay, stop looking at his arm. Look at his hand. I drew a circle in there. Guess what that circle is? It's a burrito. It is a burrito. I don't know what kind of burrito, but he ordered it with the Grubhub app. And because he's Grubhub guy and that's the only thing he knows of. Now, this gets pretty purple, okay? If you don't like the color purple, you might want to like skip ahead. I'm probably gonna put bookmarks or whatever they're called. So, if you don't like purple, beware, because there's so much purple. There's like there's like too much purple. It's like you take the color purple. Here's some more purple. It's a little bit lighter. You got the T-shirt. Well, we're gonna make it like magenta, which is just purple, but we put pink on it and gave it its own name. And then we got some more purple on the other side of the shirt. It's pretty purple, but then you have these other colors that aren't the main colors, but they're not purple. They're over there. But purple over here and there. It's all purple. Always has been. I also just want to thank you guys for forcing me to take a deeper look at what Grubhub guy looks like because God, I would have not looked at Grubhub guy otherwise, and he's got some nice socks, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I think shading is probably my favorite part of the drawing process, apart from staring at the final product because of how good it looks. But, shading, there's something about it, like, oh, draw this, it's the color black, but slightly less opaque, and it brings it all together, and it looks more, it's beautiful. This hair that I just interpreted as a bunch of circles is, it took a while to shade because there's so many circles, but it's pretty cool. I like how most of the circles turned out. Some of them are ugly, but most of the circles are pretty fine, if you ask me. You know Hulu and how it gives you ads. So I was watching Modoc, right? You should watch Modoc. Not really though, it's kind of trash. But the Grubhub commercial came on, and it had different music, and that confused me because I'm like, people only like half the reason people care is because of that music. Now the music's different, and I don't even know how to describe it because it's trash. Like, who listens? It's so boring anyway. Like, the drawing's done now. I hope you like it because you're gonna stare at it for like 5-10 seconds. Okay, great. That was Grubhub Tuba, or Grubhub Monkey, if you will. But let's see what's next. Let's see. Miles Morales. Okay, okay. Some Spider-Man stuff. Advertisement. Marty the Zebra. It's Marty Morales. Marty Morales. I mean, it's perfect, and I'm pretty excited to draw this one because, I mean, I'm drawing an animal, and the last time I did that was like last video. But Miles Morales Spider-Man was suggested by Alan Vinny, and Marty the Zebra from Madagascar was suggested by Lego Machine X. So thanks a lot. Actually, thank you, because this is pretty fun. This is fun. Well, okay, the feet were not fun at all. Like, you think it'd be simple. They're like triangles with trapezoids on them. Like, no, if it's feet, it's difficult. It's like the rule or something. Like, no matter what kind of feet, it's gonna cost you your life. You're gonna have to make a deal with the devil to even make the feet look remotely good. I'm sorry, but I am owned by Devilman now. Now, if you look at it zoomed out, and you might think, okay, this looks kind of whack. The proportions. I do change the proportions later, especially with like the legs, because they were pretty ew. In the final product, the ears and tail are exposed, like there are holes cut out in the costume for the ears and tail to just kind of stick out, and that's inspired by Miles Morales and how his costume is set up. I love how stupid and ridiculous the names are in that universe, the Animal Marvel universe, or whatever it's called. Like, you got Peter Porker, Miles Morales. Like, they just take meals made out of, or they take food that is made out of their flesh, and they're like, yep, this is the name, this is our family name. And like, you got pork grind, which I got the Lego figure of. It's pretty cool. I wish it used a different torso, but that's not something to talk about today. But Miles Morales. I do all this webbing in like red to begin with because, I mean, there's no outline for that. It's either red or it's not. And I always like doing the Spider-Man webbing because it's just kind of fun. It's like you make these lines and then you connect them with some curves, and it's like, you should try it sometime. It's pretty fun. I would hate myself to try to do it on an entire costume, which is why I am glad it was Miles Morales and not normal Peter Parker Spider-Man. But I do the zebra print for where normally it would just be like a black costume, there's no really actual detail. I do the zebra print because, I mean, there's nothing Marty about this other than it's just Marty wearing Morales' costume. So, add the zebra print. They kind of look weird sometimes just because it's like a big red stripe, but I think it's fine. I think it looks pretty good for like what it is, and it is Marty Morales, the zebra. Spider Zebra. Is that what he would call himself? Ultimate Spider Zebra? Since Marty Morales would have to be the second Spider-Man, because Spider-Man dies for Miles Morales Spider-Man to like come out of wherever he comes out of.
So what happens there? Is it like Alex the lion is the first Spider-Man, or what? What's the deal here? Or is it another zebra? Like, I don't know. Who knows? We need more Spider-Man. We need more Marvel Gascar lore. We need Marvel Gascar lore for for society to inhale through its lungs. What? I should go through what I watched for this during this drawing. I watched all 3 Madagascar movies. First one, it's honestly my least favorite. It's not bad, but it's my least favorite. And I like some of the references, but it's not my cup of tea. Part 2, I thought part 2 was going to be my least favorite because I've watched it so many times. It's the only one that I've owned, but it's honestly like either my favorite or my second favorite, which is kind of obvious because that's the only 2 options left. Madagascar 3 surprised me. I thought it was going to be trash because it's like the third one. The concept looks stupid, but it's actually good. It was great. I highly recommend it. It might be my favorite. I'm not sure. I thought it was going to be my least favorite, but it's not. It's great. It's phenomenal. And it happened to be on Netflix, which I thought I wasn't going to be able to watch Madagascar 3, but Netflix came in clutch, which is wonderful. By the way, I bought the first one in Goodwill, which is wonderful. I like the word wonderful, apparently. But I watched the Spider-Man, 2017 Spider-Man Disney show, which it's great. I don't know why people hate it. It's a pretty good show. And I watched the Maximum Venom season, and that was underwhelming. But it doesn't matter because we're at the end of the drawing. Look at this bad boy. Oh my god. Okay, so that was Marty Morales, but what's next? I don't know. Let's find out. I'm joking. I already know. I drew it already.
Spear? Don't know who that is, but we'll see. We'll see. Mr. Clean. Okay, I don't know who Spear is. That's gonna be funny.
And funny it did be. I don't know how I figured that out. I didn't even know who Spear was, but now I do. Spear from Primal was suggested by Russian Batman, and Mr. Clean was suggested by Lego Machine X. They both got 2 of their 3 characters chosen already, so their 3rd character can no longer be chosen because I said so. It's more fair for the other people, and they can just resuggest those characters next month anyway. By the way, this is actually the 4th drawing I did, but I'm putting it here in the 3rd spot because it doesn't end up being that interesting of a drawing, and the characters themselves aren't really that interesting in design. So, trying to spread it out a little bit, hope you don't mind. I actually really liked doing the outline for this drawing because I kind of got to do these muscles, and kind of a unique shape for a person. I don't really know how to describe it. But I kind of get the muscly, but it's also still kind of blocky just because of the art style of the show Primal. So you get these very muscly circles with the blocky ends, and these hands, they got the bulky hands, and I mean this hand was kind of hard to draw, but the other hand, I like that other hand. It was nice. I liked it. This hand, I look back at it and I realize it's kind of dog water, but I was gonna do a completely different art style for this because I saw this one picture of Spear. But then I watched the show, or at least I watched a couple episodes of the show, and I realized this guy, he's kind of built weird, and I like how he's made. I like the muscly, the square. I already said that 5 times, but I like it. I like that. I like how it is. This guy has some very simple toes, but they still ended up being the worst thing ever. As I said, no matter what, if it's feet, then it's gonna be the bane of your existence. You're not gonna be able to draw it. And I spent a good half an hour, maybe even more, on this foot because I could not be happy with how it looked, and then I realized why it looked bad. But it still looks bad, but it doesn't look bad anymore, kinda. I don't really know. I haven't stared at the feet in a while because why would I? But it's fine. I like it. Look at those feet. I don't really like it, but Anyway, I want to talk about the show Primal, the actual show. It's on HBO Max, and a lot of things actually end up being on HBO Max, which is kind of weird, but I feel like these are all being suggested by Russ, so I think that's the reason. I don't know, but Primal, I recommend it. I kind of recommend it. I don't fully recommend it, but I kind of recommend it. It's like its own thing. It's very unique. Let me explain. So is no actual talking. There's no English, okay? It's just caveman language or whatever you want to call it, grunting language. That kind of makes it the kind of show that you need to be watching. Like, you have to be looking. You can't turn it on in the background, because then you'll look back and be like, well, what happened? I like the show, but it's also like that's a problem with it. I can't really turn it on in the background. I have to set aside time to give it my full attention, which is not really something I like to do. I mean, it's a show, you're kind of supposed to be watching it, so I can't blame it. And also, that's like what makes it unique. That's like its own thing, and it's good. It's a good show. I recommend watching it. I'm only like 3 episodes in, but I think it's a good show so far. I like the story, and like I like the relationship between the 2 main characters so far, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Moral of the story is, if Russ watches something and he enjoys it, you should probably go on ahead and watch it. Like, there's Rango, Infinity Train, Primal. These are things that I wouldn't have watched without him being like, this is a good show. Most of them are just things that are like, wow, this is amazing. Like, especially Infinity Train, that's one of my favorite shows now. It's just great, and I love it. So yeah, just copy what Russ watches. Back to the actual drawing here. It was a little bit hard combining these 2 characters because there's not really anything super unique about them. They're just kind of people. Mr. Clean, he's bald, so I made him bald. He's got that earring, he's got the pants, okay? I gave him pants because I needed something from Mr. Clean, okay? Now, you could look at this drawing and you probably would not say that is Mr. Clean combined with Spear from Primal. Probably because you wouldn't know Spear from Primal. He's kind of an obscure character. I like how it turned out, but I also feel like I didn't do that great of a job capturing both characters into one. And I think that's just because both are hard to make standouts for. I mean, the weapon here, I have the spear with the mop end. I feel like, that's a pretty good hint. I think this is my least favorite out of the ones I did, but let me know what you think. Oh man, that was wacky, mate. Anyway, what's the next one? Tell.
Daredevil. Okay, we're getting some good ones. Knuckles the Echidna. That's gonna be a good one.
I was super excited to do this one, so let's get right into it. I mean, Knuckles and Daredevil. The more I thought about it, it's like, oh my god, it's perfect, Take a look at Daredevil. What is he? He's red with spikes on his head. Okay, look at Knuckles now. What is he? He's red with spikes on his hands. Spikes. And look at Daredevil again. He's got his mouth showing, and like that's where his flesh is. It's the only flesh you can see. And then Knuckles. I mean, I don't really know what he's made out of. That's probably flesh right there in his mouth, but it's the only part where he's got flesh, as far as I'm aware. Just don't take his shoes off, because I don't want to know. Oh yeah, I should probably say who suggested these. Beanie Tam suggested Knuckles from Sonic the Hedgehog, and American Joker 42 suggested Daredevil from Marvel. Thank you for that, but bro, look at these shoes. It didn't take like 20 attempts per foot. I mean, this left foot's kind of wacky, but I got the right foot down right away, and then this one, didn't get it soon. The problem was that I didn't get the right curvature that I kind of needed because it was at a weird angle, so I didn't really realize that right away. But these are some of the best shoes I've ever drawn, maybe. I don't know, I didn't keep track. I'm glad someone suggested a Sonic character because I've been wanting to draw one of those for a really long time. Because they're just they're pretty unique, and look at their limbs. They're just a bunch of noodles. They're super easy to draw. And look, the iPad failed to record again, so I just skipped one of the most important parts, the head. But look at this Daredevil Knuckles logo I made. That's cool. But the whole face and I kind of hate that that didn't save. It makes me sad. I wish they get on that. I doubt Knuckles would actually use these stick things that Daredevil has because, look at these spikes. And these spikes are really fun to do, except for when I realized that they sucked. But, they were fun to do. You draw a sphere or an oval, and then you draw a dot, and then you just connect the things, and then you erase the extra. That was nice. I liked that. Now I start doing this buckle on Knuckles' foot. I make it slightly different. Then I do the whatever this thing is on his foot. I don't know what that does for him, but you know, I take the circle things on it, whatever those are, and then I make them spikes. Look at those circles, dots, now they're spikes, you know? Look at that. And circles, dots, spikes. I love spikes. I put spikes everywhere. Not really. I loved doing the detailing on this guy because I just planned out basically where it would be red and where it would be gray or black. And, you know, it was really fun. I decided to make the costume based off of the Netflix Daredevil design because it's more interesting because comic Daredevil is a solid color. It's just red. And also Knuckles is already kind of that red. The Netflix Daredevil has a maroon kind of costume, so that fits better here, and it's just so much cooler. I can't wait for you to see the product that is final, you know? These eyes are a little whack for a second because I was trying to combine the big Knuckles eyes with the Daredevil like little eyes things. I don't even know what to say there, but you know, I work it out. You know, he's kind of squinting, but it's fine. Since we're on the coloring phase now, and I use like 3 colors in total, maybe 4. There's nothing to talk about there, so I'm going to talk about this movie I watched. I didn't watch the Netflix Daredevil show because that looked like it would take too long, so I decided to watch the Daredevil movie from whatever year it was from, and that movie was pretty good. It was really good, actually. It was a good introduction to Daredevil. You kind of get the origin story of like why he's blind and kind of why he gets his powers, but we don't really see when he becomes a hero or why. I mean, obviously why is because, you know, typical hero thing, his family member died, but you know, it kind of went from him crying over his parents' dead body to he's a superhero. So I wish we kind of got a little in between there, but it's fine. You know, the movie was good. The lighting was dark because he only fights at night and he's freaking blind, so it doesn't matter to him, but it was cool. It was a good movie. I highly recommend it. And you also get an introduction to Bullseye. I think that's who the villain was. And, you know, he's cool. Kinda. Kingpin, too, I think. I think that was Kingpin. I'm not sure. He wasn't as Kingpin as he is in the Spider-Man movie. But he's still Kingpin. He's Kingpin enough. He's Kingpinin. He's bowling. Well, it's actually more of like he's being bowled because he's the pin. You know, he's Kingpin. So he would be the bowling pin. There would be like however many of him there are. How many pins are there? Like 12? I don't know. But you know, he'd be bolded, yep, italicized too. Anyway, look at that shine. I've just finished the drawing. Here we go. That was definitely my favorite drawing out of all the ones I did here in this episode. But let's get into this last one. It's gonna be great.
Darth Raven, okay. We roll. Finn the Human.
I don't know why I sounded so disappointed there when I landed on Finn the Human, because this actually turns out to be quite a fun drawing. But, you know, let's get into it. I go for the Finn body shape because that's just kind of more my style. I don't really like doing the whole human thing, you know, good proportions. Who needs good proportions? We need noodle arms. That's what we need. Noodle arms. Edible. Actually, that would be cannibalism. But anyway, I go for the Brawlhalla character select screen pose here. I'll put a picture. And because, I don't know, it was kind of a generic pose, I couldn't really think of anything else to do, especially since I needed to fit these 2 big swords in here, or lightsabers. Anyway, Darth Raven from Star Wars was suggested by Stud, and Finn the Human from Adventure Time was suggested by Nightbricks. Something that I found interesting is that Darth Raven was actually the only character that was suggested last time, not picked, and then suggested this time. And it was by a different person. A different person suggested it this time than last time. So yeah, that's pretty interesting and cool. And I don't put it past the guy for being suggested twice, because he looks super cool. He's got that mask thing, I don't even know. He's got the hood thing, yep. I know what a hood is, I mean. But the mask thing, he's covering up his face so you don't see it, so he's like Iron Man or the Mandalorian. Like, he's so cool, you don't really know what he's thinking, but you know, he sounds cool. Actually, I don't know what he sounds like. But he's got 2 lightsabers, he's pretty cool. He looks super cool. There were a couple things that were pretty perfect with this combination. One being like the Finn has his hood thing. I don't even know what Finn has on his head, but the hat thing that has the ears. And then Darth Raven has the hood, so I just kind of combine those things, make that hat thing more of a hood and goes into a cape. Modern Finn, I don't even know what happened because I kind of stopped watching Adventure Time, but I do want to watch it again eventually, watch the whole series. But Finn has like this robot arm on one of his hands, his right hand. That kind of fits the Star Wars vibe because everyone's getting their hands cut off. Why not Finn? He looks like he'd get his hand cut off because it clearly did get cut off. I don't even know. I kind of did this in a weird order because I do all this detailing before I even do the face or the lightsabers, which is I don't know why I did that in this order, but it doesn't matter. Do anything in any order. Except for like coloring first, that would be weird. Quick second here, we finish up these feet and then we do the mask and then I finally get to doing the lightsabers. I really like how the lightsabers turned out. The hilts look a little bit weird because I tried to mimic the shape of Finn's sword and then add a little bit of lightsaber hiltiness. But then the saber part itself, the light part, I think it turned out really well, and I like how it looks because I use these tools that I found while doing that dragon drawing that I did for school. It was my last video. This tool, it like you use it and then you get that color that you chose, and then you use it again and it starts glowing, like it picks a lighter version of that color and you keep doing it lighter and lighter in the middle. It's pretty cool. It's just used to make things look like they're glowing. But here in the coloring, you might have seen that I made the torso area like a lighter blue but darker, if that makes sense, and then below that where like Finn's pants would be, I made it kind of just a navy blue, and I did that to just kind of keep some of Finn's color scheme in the design still, which I felt like I kind of needed because the only really Finn part about this is the saber hilt and then that it's the shape like Finn. For this I actually watched Adventure Time Distant Lands, which is, you guessed it, on HBO Max. Distant Lands is pretty interesting because each episode, they're not really connected except for the fact that it's like, you know, the Adventure Time universe. There are only 3 episodes out as of me making this, and they're all pretty interesting. I had fun watching each of them. First one follows BMO, second one follows Marceline and Princess Bubblegum, but mainly Marceline, and then the third episode follows Finn and Jake. Kinda, mostly Finn. I definitely recommend watching it, and it definitely makes me want to watch the entirety of the Adventure Time series, and then that'll probably lead to me watching regular show and whatever the heck else was on Cartoon Network that I watched. It's gonna be a while. Going back to the drawing, don't you like how I just put a bunch of lines everywhere and called it detail? Because I like it. Also, I added a little bit more to the lightsabers to make them look like they're glowing. Originally I was gonna do something with the lighting, but I realized that's gonna be too difficult for me. So I just did this little spark effect around the lightsabers and their glowiness because it looks cool, and I end up using it again in the future, which you will find out about whenever this drawing finishes, which is going to be about right now, which is like 3, 2, there we go, we're done now. That's great. Now that is all of the full drawings in this video, but you may notice like the extra 5 or so minutes at the end there. Well, that's because there are kind of a few drawings left. See, what happened was I spun all of the drawings or all of the characters to draw at the same time, and at the end I anticipated having time for another. What I spun for that 6th drawing was the Trash Man, or Danny DeVito, as Joker from Persona 5. After I finished the Finn Darth Raven drawing, I thought, well, I don't have time for this one, but what I could do is make a quick, small drawing kind of in the style of the emotes on my Discord server, and that's exactly what I did. So these will be a lot simpler, a lot more cartoony, and have a much thicker outline, which is just kind of how I did the emotes. They're just kind of to get to the point, not really have a ton of detail on them, and just kind of be silly, nice fun. The pose is semi-inspired by that image of Danny DeVito with the 2 guns. I don't even know where that is. But yeah, I just included the knife in one hand and the gun in the other hand. I had a little trouble making this hand look good, but there we go. Looks nice. It's gonna go by pretty fast, so just don't die on me. There is a point where the recording died on me, so most of the drawing's gone. But what I did do is combine Danny's glasses and Joker's mask, which I think is kind of cool. I don't know. I should probably say Joker from Persona 5 was suggested by Alan Vinny, and the Trash Man from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was suggested by American Joker 42. The next drawing here is Kool-Aid Man, suggested by Stud, combined with Peter Griffin from Family Guy, suggested by Lego Eric 2007. I'm not showing all the rolls this time because that'll just add a few more minutes that aren't necessary. Also, I cheated a little bit for this one, where I kept rolling until it landed on one of Lego Airwick's suggestions, just so I could make sure everyone got their suggestion in. I had a lot of good fun with this drawing. It was a little tough to get some Peter Griffin parts in there, but I did end up giving him pants just so it can kind of be an equal distribution of Peter Griffin and Kool-Aid Man. You can tell that it's definitely Peter Griffin in there, or it is Peter Griffin. Who knows anymore? I tried to make the outline like a semi-transparent blue to look like glass, but it ended up looking like hot garbage because I didn't feel like going through the effort of cropping everything. I just it's black lines. In addition, there's a beer variant, but without the foam stuff. This last one here, I prematurely decided, it's not the last one, I don't know why I said it was the last one. This one, I prematurely decided would be Pikachu, because I Love Watermelon 12 is the only person who has not been selected yet. And he only suggested Pikachu, so Pikachu. And then Goofy from Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, or whatever, from Disney, was suggested by Lego Eric 2007. So wonderful, Lego Eric got picked again right after anyway. But now we got Kool-Aid Grubhub. Why is he in this video? Anyway, Pikachu is very simple in design, so it was hard to kind of adapt him in a way that looks good. And I feel like I've run into this problem before, or I've seen someone else run into this problem, but yeah, Pikachu's just very simple. So I feel like this is my least favorite drawing out of all of these. But yeah. I just realized I kind of gave him those Duplo eyes. Here's the actual last drawing. It's Dark Helmet from Spaceballs, suggested by American Joker 42, combined with Snoopy from Peanuts, suggested by Stud. So I decided the number of these small drawings I was going to do would be based off the number of months behind this video is. And it is 4 months behind, going on 5. So, let's get this video out before there's a 5th drawing added to this collection of baby drawings. I do have a plan for baby drawings to return even after I'm caught up with all the months, if I ever end up doing that. Which hopefully I do get caught up. Who knows? I'm a lazy bum, as some would say. What's a bum even? That's a butt, right? Anyway, back to the drawing. The coloring is very simple since it's just a bunch of dark and then a white Snoopy. But I did reuse that lightsaber effect I had on Finn, which is pretty cool. We end both of these sections with lightsabers, and lightsabers are fun. Actually, my bad. It's like a Schwartz stick or something. I don't even know. Welp, there is everything. Let me know in the comment below, singular, what you think. Make sure to join my Discord server, linked in the description, because that's where I'll be talking about what to do next month, quote-unquote month. Next week's video will be, the thumbnail will be me looking sad, IRL me, and I'll be vaguely discussing why this video took so long, and then the future of what I'll be doing on this channel. Stay tuned. Okay, bye now.